At 58, Indian-American cardiologist Priya Kapoor thought she had life figured out, successful career, grown children, respectable widow in her San Diego suburb. Then Lucia Morales moved in next door with her guitar, her Mexican grandmother's recipes, and a smile that made Priya's carefully constructed world tilt on its axis. One borrowed cup of sugar, one accidental touch, one kiss that shouldn't have happened. Now Priya's facing a choice: keep living the life everyone expects, or risk everything for a love she never knew she was missing. But here's what nobody tells you about falling in love at 58: it's terrifying, exhilarating, and absolutely worth it. What would you do? Priya Kapoor had her Tuesday morning routine perfected. Wake at 5:30 a.m. Meditation, chai tea, while checking patient charts. By 6:45, she'd be in her garden, tending to her roses before the California heat became unbearable. But this Tuesday, loud music shattered her meditation. Spanish guitar, passionate and unapologetic, flooding through the walls from the house next door that had been empty for 3 months. So much for peace, Priya thought, abandoning her lotus position. By evening, curiosity overpowered irritation. The moving truck was gone, but a vintage turquoise Volkswagen sat in the driveway. Priya did what any good Indian mother would do. She made samosas and headed over with a welcome basket. The woman who answered the door was not what Priya expected. Lucia Morales stood barefoot in paint-splattered overalls, silver streaking through her long black hair, which was pulled into a messy bun. She was 55, with laugh lines around her eyes and colorful tattoos peeking from beneath her sleeves. Everything about her screamed artist rebel. Free spirit everything Priya was not. Please tell me you're not here to complain about the music, Lucia said, but she was grinning. I brought samosas, Priya heard herself say then. You're officially my favorite neighbor. Lucia's smile was devastating. I'm Lucia. Come in, but fair warning, it's chaos. The house was indeed chaos. Canvases everywhere, some finished, most not, guitar cases, pottery wheels, half-impact boxes, a riot of color and creativity that made Priya's meticulously organized home seem sterile by comparison. You're an artist, Priya observed. Sculptor, painter, occasionally a musician when the mood strikes. I teach art therapy now. Just moved from Los Angeles. Lucia cleared a space on a paint-splattered couch. What about you? Let me guess. Cardiologist. How did you know? You have that look. Competent, in control, like you fix broken things for a living. Lucia's eyes held something Priya couldn't quite name. I'm the opposite. I make beautiful messes. They talked for 2 hours. Priya learned that Lucia was divorced, had 3 adult children scattered across the country, and had sold her LA studio apartment to escape the city noise and find herself again. She laughed easily, touched Priya's arm when making points, and seemed entirely comfortable in her own skin. Priya found herself sharing things. She rarely discussed her husband Raj's death 4 years ago, from the very heart condition she spent her life treating, her son and daughter's families in Boston and Chicago, the loneliness of a too-quiet house. You know what I think, Lucia said as Priya finally stood to leave. I think we're both starting over, me with my art, you with whatever comes next. I'm 58, Priya said. I'm not starting over. I'm settling in. Lucia's smile turned mysterious. Says who? Walking back home, Priya felt unsettled. The evening had been pleasant, normal even. So why was her heart racing? Why did she keep thinking about the way Lucia's eyes crinkled when she laughed? It's just nice to have an interesting neighbor, she told herself firmly. But that night, lying in bed, she heard the guitar again through the walls. And this time, instead of irritation, she felt something else entirely. Something dangerous. Have you ever met someone who immediately made you question everything? What happened? The thing about being neighbors with someone intriguing is you can't avoid them. Priya tried. For 3 days, she adjusted her schedule to miss Lucia's morning routine, left for the hospital early, came home late. But on Friday evening, returning from a 14-hour shift, she found Lucia in her driveway, looking distressed next to her Volkswagen. Car trouble? Priya asked, despite herself. Dead battery, and my daughter's supposed to video call in 20 minutes for my grandson's birthday. Lucia looked genuinely upset. I know we barely know each other, but could I possibly use your Wi-Fi? Just for the call. What could Priya say? Of course, come in. She made chai while Lucia set up her laptop at the kitchen table. Then Priya meant to disappear upstairs, give her privacy, but Lucia grabbed her wrist. Stay, please. You can meet my chaos. The video call was indeed chaos. 3 children, a husband, and 5-year-old Miguel, all crammed onto one screen, singing happy birthday in a mixture of English and Spanish. Lucia cried happy tears, blew kisses, promised to visit soon. The love radiating from that screen was palpable. After she hung up, wiping her eyes, Lucia noticed Priya's family photos on the mantel. Your kids, Simran and Arjun. And my grandchildren, 3 of them now. They visit often, holidays mostly. They're busy with their lives. Priya heard the loneliness in her own voice. Lucia studied her. You know what I learned from my divorce. Sometimes the hardest part isn't being alone. It's admitting you're lonely. I'm not. Priya started, then stopped. Why lie? Yes, I am. Me too, Lucia said softly. That's why I moved here. In LA, I was surrounded by people but still lonely. At least here, I can be lonely in beautiful silence. They ordered Thai food, shared a bottle of wine, talked until midnight about children who loved them but didn't understand them, careers that fulfilled but didn't complete them, the strange geography of grief and starting over. At some point, they moved to the couch. At some point, Lucia's hand rested on Priya's knee while making a point about her daughter's terrible boyfriend. At some point, Priya realized she hadn't pulled away. I should go, Lucia said finally, but didn't move. Yes, Priya agreed, also not moving. They sat there, hands touching, something unspoken, crackling between them. Finally, Lucia stood. Thank you for tonight, for the Wi-Fi, the food, the company. You're surprisingly easy to talk to, Dr. Kapoor. Priya, please, Priya. The way Lucia said her name made something flutter in her chest. Good night. After she left, Priya sat in the quiet of her living room, her knee still warm where Lucia's hand had been. This is ridiculous, she thought. You're 58 years old, a respected cardiologist, a mother, a grandmother. You're not the kind of woman who what, gets flustered by a neighbor, feels electricity from an innocent touch, lies awake thinking about someone's smile. Priya had spent 35 years married to a man she loved and respected. She'd never questioned her life, her choices, herself, until a sculptor with paint-stained hands and a devastating smile moved in next door. When did you realize someone was more than just a friend? Tell us your story. Priya's sister Mira called on Sunday morning, as she did every week. You sound different, Mira said immediately. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. Priya, I've known you for 58 years. You're not fine. So Priya told her about Lucia, the conversations, the inexplicable pull she felt. She left out the part about lying awake at night thinking about her. That seemed too revealing. Mira was quiet for a long moment. Are you telling me what I think you're telling me? I'm not telling you anything. I'm just confused, Didi, Mira said gently, using the Hindi word for older sister. Remember when we were teenagers? You had that friend Anjali. You two were inseparable. That was different. We were just close. Mom and Dad thought so too. That's why they arranged your marriage to Raj so quickly. Mira's voice was careful. I've always wondered if you remember it differently than they did. Priya's throat tightened. She did remember. She remembered everything about Anjali, the way they'd stayed up all night talking, the inexplicable jealousy when Anjali got a boyfriend, the devastating heartbreak when Anjali moved to London. She'd told herself it was just friendship, normal. What women felt for their best friends, even if that was something. Priya said carefully. I loved Raj. I know you did. But did you love him, or did you love the life he gave you? The respectability, the children, the escape from questions you didn't want to answer. Before Priya could respond, her doorbell rang. I have to go. It was Lucia, holding a canvas. I made you something, too. Thank you for Friday. The painting took Priya's breath away. It was abstract but somehow captured the essence of her garden, her roses, the light at dawn, the peace she found there. Lucia, this is... I can't accept this. Too late. It's yours. Lucia stepped inside uninvited, hanging it in the entryway. Perfect. See, it was meant to be here. They stood there, admiring it. Priya was acutely aware of how close Lucia was standing. I need to tell you something, Lucia said suddenly, and if this ruins our friendship, I'm sorry, but I can't keep pretending. Priya's heart stopped. What? I'm attracted to you. Have been since you showed up with those samosas. Lucia turned to face her. I'm bisexual. Came out during my divorce. And I know you're probably straight, and I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, but I needed you to know why I've been. Priya kissed her. She didn't think about it, didn't plan it, didn't analyze it. She just reached up, pulled Lucia down, and kissed her. For 5 perfect seconds, Lucia kissed her back. Her lips were soft. She tasted like coffee and mint. and every nerve in Priya's body saying yes, yes, yes. Then reality crashed in. Priya jerked back, horror flooding through her. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do this. She practically ran upstairs, leaving Lucia standing alone in her entryway. That night, Priya cried for the first time since Raj died. Not from sadness, not from terror at how much she wanted to run back downstairs and kiss Lucia again. Team take the risk, or team play it safe. What would you do in Priya's situation? For a week, Priya avoided Lucia, left early, came home late, parked in the garage and rushed inside, but she couldn't avoid her family. Simran video called on Thursday. Mom, you look terrible. Are you sleeping? I'm fine. Beta, you're not fine. What's going on? Priya looked at her daughter's concerned face and made a decision. Can I ask you something hypothetical? Oh God, what did you do? Nothing. Just. If someone spent most of their life living one way, being one person, and then discovered they might be different than they thought, would it be too late to change? Simran's eyes widened. Mom, are you seeing someone? No, maybe. I don't know. It's complicated. Is it complicated because they're younger? Because honestly, good for you, it's complicated because she's a woman. Silence. Then, oh, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me sooner, Mom? This is huge. I'm 58. I was married to your father for 35 years. I can't what? Be happy. Mom, do you think Dad would want you alone forever? It's not about what he'd want. It's about who I am, what people will think. Your grandmother Nani is 86 and still thinks I should quit my law firm to find a husband. Who cares what she thinks? Simran leaned closer to the camera. Mom, listen to me. You've spent your whole life being what everyone needed. The good daughter, the good wife, the good mother. When do you get to be happy? After the call, Priya sat with that question. At midnight, she walked to Lucia's house and knocked. Lucia answered in pajamas, surprise on her face. Priya, I've been married once, to a good man who I loved and who loved me. We built a life, raised children. I was happy. Priya's voice shook, but I was also hiding. From myself, from possibilities, from questions I was too afraid to ask. You don't have to explain. Yes, I do, because I'm 58 years old, and I'm terrified. Terrified of what my family will think, what my colleagues will say, what my community will whisper. Terrified of starting over. Terrified of wanting you this much, when I barely know what that means. Lucia stepped onto the porch, closing the door behind her. And I'm more terrified of waking up at 70, still alone, still wondering what if. Priya took Lucia's hands. I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I'm gay, or bisexual, or just Lucia-sexual. I don't have it figured out. Nobody has it figured out, Lucia said softly. I can't promise this will be easy. My family, my practice, my whole life, it's going to be complicated. I don't need easy. I need honest. Lucia cupped Priya's face. Are you being honest right now? Yes, for the first time in my life, I'm being completely honest. Priya smiled through tears. I want this. I want you. I'm absolutely terrified, but I want to try. Lucia kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. Then let's be terrified together. What's the bravest thing you've ever done for love? Share your story, we want to hear it. Priya and Lucia's story doesn't end here, it's just beginning. They face family dinners where questions lurk beneath polite conversation. They navigate Priya's first pride parade at 50. They learn what it means to build a life together when both thought their lives were already built. Some days are beautiful, some are hard, some are both. But every day, Priya wakes up knowing she chose honesty over comfort. She chose love over fear. She chose herself. The question is, will you? Your story matters. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever had a later in life awakening? What's holding you back from your truth? What advice would you give Priya and Lucia? And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to live authentically. Remember, you're never too old to discover who you really are. You're never too late to choose love. You're never too far along to change your path. So, what are you waiting for? Like this story. Follow for more mature lesbian romance tales that celebrate love at every age. Tag someone who needs to read this today. Comment more if you want part 2 of Priya and Lucia's journey, because love doesn't have an expiration date, and neither do you. Hashtag mature lesbian romance, hashtag love at any age, hashtag SAPPHIC love story, hashtag LGBTQ over 50, hashtag late in life come out. Hashtag WLW romance, hashtag lesbian love story, hash authentic living, hashtag never too late, hashtag the girl next door.